LaDainian Tomlinson himself. How are you, LT?
I'm doing great, Rich.
So Carlos Hyde, along with Chris Ivory and Matt Forte, are the nominees for the FedEx Ground Award Player of the Week. And Carlos may have knocked somebody else out who was in there after that performance last night. Where did that come from, LT?
Well, I think this was a guy that was primed and ready to break out. Remember, they drafted him very high when he came out of Ohio State. So we knew at some point he would get his opportunity after being behind Frank Gore. I had an opportunity to talk with him in the offseason, and he talked about how he's so ready to take over this starting job and prove to people that he can be one of the best running backs in the National Football League. So we saw a guy that was ready for his opportunity, and, boy, I tell you, he had an excellent night and showed why he's going to be possibly, around for a long time.
Yeah, $168 on the ground. And if going into the night we thought that there would be one last spot for that nominee for Ground Player of the Week, it would have to go to either DeMarco Murray or Adrian Peterson going into the night, and yet both of them had dreadful Monday nights. Let's start with DeMarco Murray, who came off the field in Week 1 for Philadelphia perhaps as many times as he came off the field for Dallas the entire year in 2014. What's he thinking this morning, do you think, LT?
Well, he's thinking probably, why did I sign here? This is not what I signed up for. This is not what you sold me on. 8 carries, 9 rushing yards. He has to, and here's the thing, Rich, they didn't utilize him to his best abilities. DeMarco Murray is a downhill physical running back. He was running out of the shotgun, running on the perimeter. That's not his style. And so I'm sure he's probably frustrated. Coupled with losing the game, that's even worse. Now, if you win the game, then, all is good, and you don't complain about it a lot. But when you lose the game and you don't get the things that you thought you were going to get, meaning he probably thought he would get at least 15 touches, and didn't get anywhere close to that. So I know he has to be frustrated this morning.
Well, what happens now? Because Dallas comes in at his house on Sunday afternoon, and does he think that Chip will feed him the ball because that will be beneficial to the team, because it will be beneficial to utilize whatever chip might be on his shoulder? I mean, what happens this week? Does he go into the coach's office and say something, LaDainian?
Well, not right away. I think you wait and see what the game plan entails. The first couple of days, you'll be able to see kind of what Chip is thinking and how he's going to be utilized this game. And then after that, if it's not what you're thinking, or if it's not like you're not going to be the featured guy, then you go in and talk to Chip. There's nothing wrong with that. And then if that doesn't work, then, boy, you just got to do what you was brought there to do and just be a good teammate, do what you have to do, and hopefully things change. But I think, boy, Rich, they have to be able to utilize this guy running the football downhill. He's not a perimeter guy. That goes to, guys like Darren Sproles. So it's going to be interesting to see how they use him this week against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I thought this was a system where somebody just plants his foot and goes in the hole. That's what they got him for, because you and I have discussed this. LeSean McCoy was the one who was not hitting the hole and maybe going out laterally further and further and further until they gained no yards. That was at least the conversation that everyone was having over the last several months about the Eagles' offense, LT, right?
Yeah, the problem is, though, he's lining up in shotgun, and he's running shotgun runs, which means a lot of those runs are not designed to go downhill. If you saw it, a lot of those runs are designed to go outside, to get on the perimeter. And so it takes a little bit more time to develop. If you notice, he got caught in the backfield a couple of times because he was trying to get outside on a design run, and that's just not the best way to utilize him.
Adrian Peterson last night, LaDainian Tomlinson, 10 carries, 31 rushing yards, and he had just 4 touches in the first half. 4. How does something like that happen? How does that happen?
I think this is a situation where Norv Turner, he just overthought the situation in terms of the first game. Knowing Norv like I know him, I know how he thinks. So he probably thought, listen, this is the first game. San Francisco is going to be geared up at their house to stop Adrian Peterson. Let's use their aggressiveness against them. Throw the ball early, play action with Adrian. Go down the field early on, loosen his defense up, maybe get Adrian involved in the passing game early, and then in the second half, let's feature Adrian after this defense has worn down a little bit, and it didn't work out like that. Not to have only 4 carries in the first half is really inexcusable, Rich. It really is, because this guy should have got at least 20 carries. He needs to get his legs up underneath him. Mm-hmm. Haven't played football in over a year. We know that. So it takes time to get acclimated to the speed of the game. He has to get carries. Norv has to feature this guy.
LaDainian Tomlinson representing the FedEx Air and Ground Awards, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. The quarterback nominees, Brady, Rivers, Palmer. Phillip Rivers, 30 unanswered points for the Chargers. How did you see the performance of your former franchise week number 1, LT?
Well, I'll tell you what, Phillip just showed grit. I mean, he showed toughness and fight. He embodies what that team wants to be about, truly. Things didn't go right the first half. 2 interceptions, passer rating well below 100. And yet, the first half he got hit. He got, threw all over the place, pressure. But yet he stayed unflappable. Second half, led his team, 2 touchdowns. And, to me, he's a guy that team is going to follow. I know so much has been made about Melvin Gordon and getting this running game going, but Phillip is the guy that they're going to follow. And we saw it on Sunday. In the case of adversity, this guy stands up and looks unflappable, and I think it's a sign of things to come. Those guys will follow him.
And the mere fact that Marcus Mariota is a rookie, is that why he's not a nominee here? I mean, a perfect passer rating, more touchdowns than incompletions week 1. That folks at FedEx and folks like yourself, you need to see more from him, or you got to go with the vets. I mean, we're you know what I'm saying right here, LaDainian?
Well, actually, Rich, in order to qualify for the best passer rating, you have to have thrown at least 20 passes. As we know, he only threw 16, so he really doesn't qualify. Hence, that might be the reason why he wasn't on the airport.
Quality over quantity, right? I mean, he was pretty remarkable for a rookie quarterback.
But I will say this.
Okay.
Now, part of it has to be on his fans, the Tennessee fans, because fans, they can vote on their favorite player, NFL.com/FedEx, beginning after Monday night through Thursday afternoon. So they have to vote. So come on, Tennessee, vote for your guy.
I like it. Okay, so it's on the responsibility of the Titans fans and maybe Taylor Lewan, who's coming up on the show, to go ahead and click at NFL.com/FedEx is what you're saying, LaDainian.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And you know what? In addition to that, the fans are doing something, charitable at the same time, because if they win, if their quarterback or running back wins, FedEx will donate $2,000 to their team's local area chapters of the American Red Cross. So there you have it. You're doing good things, voting for your favorite player, and you're getting money donated to the American Red Cross in your area.
You're fired up about TCU, I imagine. 2-0 start, number 3 overall so far?
Yes, I am. They put up 70 points last week. That's more like it. We're used to scoring a lot of points. I think we averaged, just about 50 points last year, but who's counting? Anyway, big week this week. They play their rivals, SMU, over in Dallas, expecting another big win, and go Frogs.
Yeah, and Texas apparently just fired its athletic director, LaDainian, just this morning.
I saw that. And here's the thing, Rich, you've heard it, Texas, the state in general is a football state. And, people here, they're not going to accept losing, especially when you're at a place like the University of Texas, where you have endless resources, you have the ability to get any recruit in the nation that you want, they're not going to accept losing. And so I'm not surprised by the move, but let's see what happens.
LT, thanks for calling in. As always, love to have you back in studio whenever you're up for it, okay?
Thanks, Rich.
You bet. That's LaDainian Tomlinson at LT_21.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.